It was found in a shed. The tool is old and shaped like oversized scissors, with a wooden plate on the head and a curved metal piece that comes down to meet the wood. It seems designed for notching or pinching, possibly used on a farm, similar to a pig ear notcher. What could this tool have been used for? This is a pig snouter, a farming tool historically used to remove the tips of piglets' snouts to prevent them from rooting and digging up soil. The device would cut the tip cleanly, a practice that many today consider unpleasant or inhumane. Tools like this were more common on small farms in the 19th and early 20th centuries, reflecting older livestock management methods before modern animal welfare standards and alternative techniques were widely adopted. This is a pig snouter, a tool that was once a common part of farm life, used to trim the tips of piglet snouts to prevent them from rooting up soil, crops, or pens. On small family farms in the 19th and early 20th centuries, piglets were a valuable source of meat, and keeping them from destroying fields was a constant concern. Farmhands would gather the newborn piglets in spring, sometimes in the dim light of a barn, and use the snouter to perform the procedure quickly, often in batches. It was a routine, almost ritualized task, practical, efficient, and done with an eye toward survival and economy. Oral histories and memoirs from old farmers sometimes recount these scenes with a mixture of matter-of-fact tone and nostalgia, remembering the tool as an ordinary part of daily chores. While the idea seems harsh today, at the time it was simply part of managing livestock, a reminder of how different the realities of farm life were, and how ingenuity and practicality shaped the tools of the trade. It was found with a collection of other old tools. The tool measures about 5.5 inches long and has a wooden handle with a thin metal blade that features a small notch near the tip. Both the handle and blade carry a faint diamond-shaped logo, though it's too worn to clearly identify. Given the craftsmanship and logo style, it seems to be a vintage hand tool, possibly for fine woodworking or leather work. What could this have been used for? This is a hedle hook, also known as a sleigh or threading hook. It's used in weaving to pull warp threads through the hedles on a loom, a process that sets up the warp for weaving fabric. These hooks come in different lengths and shapes depending on the type of loom and the weaver's preference. The tool has been around for centuries, and while modern versions are often made of steel or plastic, early ones were sometimes handmade from wood or bone, showing just how long humans have been perfecting the art of weaving. It was found among antique sewing supplies. The tool is about 5 inches long, with a smooth, ivory-like handle similar to old flatware. The metal end is shaped like a button hook, but instead of a hook, it has a small cupped eye. It feels like something used for delicate work, perhaps in sewing or embroidery. What could this have been used for? This is a commodone extractor, the tool dermatologists use to remove blackheads and whiteheads. It usually has a small loop on one or both ends, one for applying gentle pressure around a blackhead to extract it, and the other for deeper blemishes. The design dates back to the early 1900s, when dermatology began adopting specialized instruments for skin care. It was spotted in a thrift store, a hand-sized tool with a forged metal blade about as tall as a hand. The handle fit neatly in the palm, and the blunt, thick blade, around 3 millimeters, protruded between the fingers. It didn't seem to have ever been sharp, and the weld at the base looked newer than the rest. There were 3 of them on the shelf, each with a slightly smaller blade than the last. It looked like something made for jabbing and twisting, but its real purpose remains unclear. What could this have been made for? That's a flat hand trowel used for gardening work, such as transplanting seedlings, spreading soil, or smoothing out beds. Its flat blade makes it ideal for leveling or edging small garden areas, especially in tight spots where a full-size spade would be too large. Versions of this simple but versatile tool have been found dating back to ancient Roman gardens, showing how little its design has needed to change over the centuries. It came from a box of old woodworking and machinist tools, a small adjustable piece about 4 inches long. Made of 2 sliding parts, it lets you raise or lower a set of sharp teeth. It looks like it would fit into a larger handle or body, maybe part of a marking or molding setup. If dragged across wood, it would leave fine grooves, suggesting it once added texture or pattern to a surface. But with no clear handle or housing, its exact role remains a bit of a mystery. What could this have been part of? It's part of a cooper's crow's plane, a specialized tool used by barrel makers to cut the circular groove inside the staves where the barrel head or lid would fit. The curved guide keeps the cut at a consistent depth and angle all the way around. This tool was essential in the 18th and 19th centuries when tight, leak-proof barrels were vital for storing liquids like whiskey, wine, and oil. It was found in an old garage. This old tool is about 9.5 inches long with a wooden handle. The clamping end swivels through roughly 90 degrees, and an adjusting screw near the handle changes the angle of the spring-loaded blade. It appears to be clamped onto something while the handle is moved up and down. One suggestion is that it was used for undercutting grooves in a motor commutator. Any idea what this specialized tool might have been used for? This is a wire tensioner, a hand tool used to tighten and secure lengths of wire, such as barbed fencing or electrical wiring. By gripping the wire and applying leverage, it allows a user to achieve consistent tension, keeping fences straight and strong or ensuring proper alignment for wiring. It was found in a thrift store. This old tool, dating from around 1880, resembles a pair of double pliers. Its design suggests it may have been used to hold 2 objects together rather than for gripping or cutting. Any idea what this 19th century tool might have been used for? These are vintage Wolverine double-jaw hog ring pliers, a tool used to crimp hog rings, which are metal fasteners shaped like small rings. They were commonly used in upholstery, fencing, and automotive work to secure materials such as fabric, wire, or mesh. The double jaw design allows the user to hold the ring in place while applying even pressure for a tight, secure closure. It was found among a collection of vintage tools. This metal tool has a steel body with a copper cylinder, and both the copper cylinder and the square bit can slide up and down along a rectangular rod. There are no markings to indicate its exact use. Any ideas what this sliding mechanism might have been used for? This is a plow gauge, a traditional tool used in leatherworking to guide a plow or cutting wheel for creating precise grooves or channels along the edge of a leather piece. The gauge consists of an adjustable arm or fence that sets the distance between the plow blade and the edge, allowing the craftsman to maintain uniformity along the length of the leather. To use it, the leather is laid flat, and the gauge is aligned along the edge. The plow is then run along the guide, carving a clean, consistent groove. These grooves are essential for stitching, folding, or decorative detailing, as they help the thread sit neatly and prevent wear over time. Plow gauges have been a staple in saddlery, harness making, and fine leather goods workshops for centuries, reflecting the combination of precision, skill, and patience required to produce high-quality, long-lasting leather products. It was found at an estate sale among vintage car parts and tools. This heavy cast-iron piece resembles a crank, and one end appears shaped to fit a mechanism. Some have guessed it might be a robust window crank or a similar automotive hand-operated component. Any idea what specific function this might have served on an older Ford? These are Model T rear brake levers, components of the braking assembly used on the Ford Model T. They transfer the driver's foot or hand input to the mechanical brake shoes at the rear wheels, helping slow or stop the vehicle. Early automotive brake systems like this relied entirely on mechanical linkages rather than hydraulics, making each lever and connection critical for safe operation.